good morning. Welcome to the most anticipated Tuesday edition of the most watched breakfast show in Nigeria. Much love and all the blessings you need for you and yours. Now, joining us this beautiful morning and is His Royal Highness.
I feel like a guest on the show already.
His Royal Highness. Because you weren't here yesterday.
Thank you very much.
We missed you.
Tuesdays are great days, and of course, Tuesday was the very day I was born. So, hey, let's have a fresh start. Cool greetings to everybody out there. Forget all your worries and forge on ahead with the hustle. Hey, it's great to have you as our company. Thank you very much for choosing us. We appreciate this.
Yeah, we're the good guys. We're the ones who always want to see you win. That's why we're right here, bright and early, to give you all that's required, all that required support to conquer every difficulty.
Yeah, it was a very, very interesting day today because it started raining right as I set out for work. So I had to drive really slow, which is not something that I do. And I'm wondering how everybody else is managing. Mike, hey, how you doing, man? Mary, how did you guys manage getting to the office today?
Yeah,
we managed, you know.
It was happening there.
It was okay, so yes, we are busy trying to get a new pan.
Unboxing.
Yes. So we're trying to get ready for the kitchen segments today.
Okay.
Yeah, so
fantastic.
There's something. Yes, that's where the cover is
inspiring.
So this is what
you know that the kitchen is going to be agog today. We're going to be having a chef, of course. But you guys are having a bit too much fun with that frying pan and...
Yes, so we have a new pan.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you very much, guys. There's always something very interesting here for the show. Yeah, big shout out.
To Copper Chef, yes, for providing us with all our kitchen essentials. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. So to stay around for this episode here, it's going to be great. You guys have plenty to hope for and wait for this Tuesday edition. My name is Mazino Appeal.
And I'm Titilayo Oyinson. TVCentertainment.tv is our website. You can also stream right there or on Facebook at TVC Connect. TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and of course, Facebook I mentioned, all at TVC Connect. Use our hashtag WakeUpNigeria on TV.
Yeah, now when you download the TVC app on both Android and on iOS Store, you get unrestricted access to all the premium shows that we do here on Wake Up Nigeria.
A lot of people have this habit of catching up. Maybe they've been a bit busy. They do that on YouTube. Yes, indeed.
All right, now we are going to be having health. And we'll be having Dr. Babajide Lawson, the lead consultant, orthopedic and trauma surgeon, and he will be sharing what we need to know about bone infections.
On parenting, we're going to be discussing teaching your children how to regulate their emotions. Yes, your kids have emotions. Have you figured yours out before you try and figure out your kids? Sandra Oluwadare is going to be here, a parenting coach, child behavior consultant. She's the founder of Winning in Parenting. That discussion is best had with her.
And for a musical performance, ladies and gentlemen, we will be joined by none other than Babatunde Raimi, a prolific Nigerian author, poet, songwriter, and also singer who, over the years, has been able to blend his robust experience with art. Can't wait to have him on.
All right, so we have our guest coming. Biodun Stevens is going to be in the building. Now, actress, singer, and so much more. We're going to be having a really interesting producer on the couch with us today. It's going to be really, really fun conversation, one that you should not miss. All right, so it's Tuesday,
yeah?
And so everybody...
The most productive day of the week, which Masino doesn't agree with.
So you mentioned you had some challenges coming on the road because of the rain.
So it was very interesting today because it's like the first heavy rain that I've experienced, and I don't like driving in the rain. It's very, very disorienting for me, especially in the dark and with the kind of drivers that we have. So it was it was horrible getting to the office.
I love driving in the rain.
And,
I'm a pluvophile.
You're what?
A pluvophile.
Yeah. Are you okay?
Oh, a pluvophile is people who like the rain.
So the rain will come out, I'll go and get an umbrella, just step out.
I love that too, don't get me wrong.
I love driving in the rain.
But not driving in the rain. The roads become very slippery. You're overly aware of the guy who's behind you and can't see your brakes, you know, so it all scares me. And if you are heading for the 3rd Mainland Bridge today coming from Oshodi, stay home.
Really, Mazino?
As at 5 a.m., it had built it was such a rush getting onto the 3rd Mainland Bridge that it was crazy.
Well, there have been some indicators that there are going to be
There's going to be a lot of traffic today.
There's going to be a lot of traffic today.
Why?
Some very important people coming into the state, into Lagos, to commission some different facilities in different parts of the
So
state.
on a normal day, we should have
a terminal.
exactly. So we should have the routes where they would access and so ensure that people stay away from those routes. If it's possible, maybe during what's open about, we'll let people know. If we know the areas where they are going to and say, okay, maybe people should avoid these areas.
The most important though is we've been warned generally.
Yes.
If you have a flight to catch today,
Yeah.
leave earlier. Like it was actually in the message that was
Advisory.
posted.
Yeah.
Like if you have a flight for 7 a.m., make sure you're at the airport for 5.
Yeah.
Because nobody is going to be responsible for your.
Yeah, because this person is very, very important. And even the weather has to wait for him.
Hello and welcome to the news update here on Wake Up Nigeria. I am Kelly Egiga. Let's begin with security stories in Kaduna State, where the death toll from Sunday's attack by terrorists at Agban Kaguru Chiefdom in Kaura local government area has risen to 26. And this was confirmed by the chairman of Kaura local government area, Matthias Seaman. Mr. Seaman also said that 2 soldiers were killed while 1 other sustained injury. He further disclosed that 7 others sustained various degrees of injuries and are currently receiving treatment in some hospitals within Kaduna State and in Jos, the Plateau State capital. The state government had earlier yesterday imposed a 24-hour curfew in 2 local government areas, including Kaura. This comes a day after terrorists attacked Kaguru Chiefdom in Kaura local government area, killing at least 13 villagers, while several properties were destroyed. Mr. Samuel Aruwan, the Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs, announced this in a statement yesterday. The Commissioner said the measure became necessary following advice from security agencies, which is aimed at assisting them to stabilize the situation in the areas, save lives and property, and enable the restoration of law and order in the area. Away from security stories, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, says it has granted administrative bail to the immediate past governor of Anambra State, Willie Obiano. That's according to the EFCC chairman of the Rashid Bawa. Mr. Bawa said the former governor was cooperating with the commission to perfect the bail conditions, but revealed that Mr. Obiano is still in EFCC custody. According to him, there was nothing political about the former governor's arrest. Mr. Obiano was arrested on Thursday at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos, while trying to board a flight to Texas in the U.S. The FCC had, in November last year, placed the former governor on a watch list. He was arrested for misappropriating 5 billion naira Shopee and 37 billion naira security vote funds, which was withdrawn in cash. A part of the funds was also allegedly diverted to finance political activities in Anambra State. Let's take you outside Nigeria now, where Ukraine has refused Russian demands to surrender Mariupol, with the besieged port city the focal point of a war that has reached a brutal stalemate but is fueling a devastating humanitarian crisis. Now, Kyiv rejected the demands to give up the city by 5 a.m. local time after Moscow promised to allow civilians trapped amid the bombardment without water, heat or medicine to escape if its defenders laid their arms. Seizing control of the strategic city would represent a significant victory for Russian forces, with their advance seemingly ground to a halt elsewhere and their campaign shifting to intensify aerial bombardment of Ukrainian cities. A fresh attack on Kyiv on Sunday night left at least 8 persons dead and a shopping center destroyed. Ukrainian officials said an official death toll was still being determined. Meanwhile, U.S. President Joe Biden will head to Europe this week as the U.S. and its allies seek to bluster Ukraine and punish the Kremlin for its invasion. The trip will include a visit to Poland, a NATO ally neighboring Ukraine, the White House announced late on Sunday. And with that report, we conclude our news. At this time, I'll be back again on the other side of 8 with more stories. I am Kelly Egiga. We urge you to stick around here for the rest of Wake Up Nigeria. Good morning.
Well, welcome. Now, for Tuesday, these are the headlines you're going to be waking up to. Let's let you know what you find when you pick up one of the dailies. We start with the Punch newspaper this morning, and this big headline here in rubrics: APC chairmanship, Al Makura, Adamu Yeri, others learn fate as aspirants screening holds today. That's on page 2. Governors initiate last-minute move for consensus candidate. APC caucus hasn't endorsed any chairmanship aspirant, say the Senate. A look at the bottom half of the page here. Jando Atiku's ex-spokesman picks Lagos. Ogun PDP governor forms. Obiano water drinking video, EFCC sanctions officials, ex-governor gets jailed, and NAFDAC warns against 4 male sexual enhancers, dangerous ingredients. A look at the photo story show Vice President Yemi Osinbajo and others during the inauguration of the Toyota Service Center in Oshodi, Lagos on Monday. And that will be all for the Punch newspaper. We're going to move now to our next daily, and that is the Daily Independent. First big headline for the Daily Independent: Buhari destroys more police, DSS, NSCDC operatives, or rather deploys the operatives to Imo, where we're reaching out to aggrieved politicians, say Uzodinma. To the side of the photo story here for the Daily Independent, 9 years after Buhari commissions new Lagos airport terminal today. So now you know why we were talking about the traffic advisory. So if you want to get anywhere, you're already too late. EFCC grants ex-governor Obiano administrative bail, apprehends officials who leaked Obiano's videos, and CBN keeps rates plans engaged with NNPC over fuel scarcity. We move on to our next daily, and that, of course, is The Nation newspaper for a Tuesday. And a big headline that greets you: South-South PDP governors demand presidential ticket. Obaseki absent at meeting. We can't stop Atiku Saraki, others say, to the party. And 23 houses burned in Kaduna gunman attack. And a look at the picture there showing the instance. Schools shut in Imo over gunman attack threat, and more protests over OAU VC. At the top of the nation, government cancels COVID-19 PCR test. You might want to read more on that because there's more details that you might want to know. And court sacks 20 Cross River lawmakers over defection. Obiano arrests are not political, says EFCC. And that's it for the Nation newspaper. Let's do one last one. Daily Trust. Why fuel scarcity persists in Abuja, northern states. You might want to take a look at that one and read. Perhaps maybe even tell us what you think about these instances that were discussed. Use the hashtag WakeUpNigeria on TVC. Let's do a break. We'll be back. Well, you guys are welcome. It's time for What's Up and About. And of course, the ladies are here with a very interesting topic. So I and Mike will just keep quiet while we listen to them.
Before we even get started with the topic, yesterday I was at the hospital and I expected to spend like an hour, ended up spending like 4 hours.
Wow.
But while waiting my turn, like I decided to go on YouTube, started listening to John Legend, especially Get Lifted album.
Yeah, that was
But you know a particular track, number one, where he's talking about cheating. And it made cheating sound like a normal thing.
Wow.
And then it got me thinking about their generation. Kanye, you know Kanye and John Legend are close friends now. And so, well, they were close friends. We are not quite sure. Yes, they did a lot of stuff together. A lot.
But where are you going with that, though?
So, yeah, so I'm coming to the old Kanye West, Pete Davidson thingy, and all the drama surrounding it.
But dating in 2022 is completely different now.
But they don't realize it.
Are you sure that they don't realize it? I think they do. I think they do. I think the approach to
How is it
relationships.
different from our generation? You people's generation.
Wow. Which I don't understand.
The approach to relationships now is different.
But definitely, you're a different generation from myself and Mazino.
Of course, Uncle Mike.
But how's it different? How's it different? Not to take it away.
Everything is happening okay, so it feels like a lot of things are back to front, as opposed how the tables have turned in terms of women being more financially independent and also more forward-thinking, more driven, goal-oriented and all that. In the end, their number one goal is no longer to get married or settle down. That's no longer the number one goal.
Let me summarize. Are you saying that, to use a term that only known to MM, that the wokeness of women...
What the heck is... Okay, sorry, go on.
That the wokeness of women is changing the dating scene.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes, very much so. For someone like Kim to pick someone like Pete, it's a move. It's like a chess move. It's like a business move. It feels like she was trying to make a statement rather than actually have someone to love and hold and relax.
So what's the function of a man in the lives of young dating people now? What do you say?
It's
something we can't really talk
No,
about.
I want you guys to go
TV.
ahead and say, please, what is the function of a man
So
now?
we cannot exactly relate anymore.
Why?
But what I would just say is this. These days, things are actually a lot worse and yet a lot better.
For
it depends
what
on how
gender?
you look at both genders.
Okay.
It depends on how you look at it. So many guys are thinking they are smart with the way they look at things, but then they end up going round. Let's talk about women that make money. Many men want women that make money, have their own income and everything. Yet they struggle with marrying a woman who earns more than them, or is independent. And so you ask yourself, what exactly do you want? You have a Neo singing about Miss Independent, and then here he is having his wife tie a womb, and he's not tying his own as planned. And then you see so many of these stories, and then you look at the Kim angle as well, because
So
she's
it sounds
famous.
like it's very implicative what you're saying. You're saying that these were things that men were, well, I don't want to use the word corporate, but you make it sound like as if it's something that was that we sort of like submitted women to, and now we're getting the same treatment now. Is that what I'm getting?
Yeah, but just before you guys go on, I'm not old, but I'm just okay. So what are we saying? We're talking about the evolution of the dating scene.
Yes.
Is that it? Evolution of the dating scene.
Yes.
It only about me and Mazino when I don't understand what
Okay, so now
Now we understand.
Mike, I'm not sure. I can't
point is
confirm
this,
whether Mike is dating or not. I cannot confirm
Auntie,
or deny that.
okay.
But the issue is, wait, calm down.
What are you trying to confirm?
Wow, really?
You want to confirm to
I'm
kill
just
you
saying, you're the only person that can really officially tell us what it's like out
are
there.
talking about official. You
Because
don't know
we
that.
are not out there
But
anymore.
you were going to say...
I said something. I said, what you will hear is my 6th child dedication.
Wow.
That's what will be open to everybody. Okay, but the point is this.
No.
The point is this, evolution. Definitely. Things, people are becoming, like you mentioned, wokeness, in quotes, is something that has really affected the dating scene. And it has to get to a point where we have to see the same people, or it has to be egalitarian, in quotes. There has to be balance. Like men and women have to see themselves at the same level. So if a guy would want to go into a relationship for fun,
A lady should also
decide that.
decide that this is what I want.
For fun too. So I think people are understanding that better, and I like it to be so.
Yeah. Well, I like it. Don't get me wrong. I think for that balance to happen, there has to be that seesaw where it was once men who felt that way, the women can feel that. Eventually, it's going to balance out. However, I do think that it's a power play, and women are beginning to hold us a bit to like a battering ram, which shouldn't be. It happens. Fine.
Things are getting to the point in which I'll just call Mazino, call like 3 different people I know, and say, tell me more about your daughter. I want to see whether she's good enough for my son. Wow. I'm telling you, things are getting back to that point. With the way the world is getting to, parents are going to start finding wives again, or husbands for their children.
The monarchies, the biggest people, the presidents and all of that, they plan themselves.
Yes, they plan themselves.
They don't just get married anyhow.
Very true.
And if someone says something, remember that human genetic engineering is not necessarily a bad thing. There are people that when they crossbreed, their offspring are always
quality.
Seriously,
yes,
we should talk about that sometime.
I think I'm all with it. It's fantastic. It's okay.
Yeah.
But tell us what you think. Use the hashtag Wake Up Nigeria on TVC. We'll talk more about it after. So when they say Tuesdays are the best days to be on Wake Up Nigeria, especially here inside the kitchen, they weren't kidding. Because that's what it is. I'm with Chef Dida.
Yes.
Dida. What's Dida? Where's that from?
For my name, Dorcas.
Why did you just say Dorcas? Anyhow, Chef Dida here, and she's going to be showing us something very interesting today, something I've always wanted to learn because I don't know my way around the kitchen, so I really don't know how to do anything except boil an egg. So, Chef Dida, what are we doing today?
So we are making ring donuts.
Ring donuts.
Yes.
I love donuts. Unfortunately, I have never been able to make one, so today is my day. I especially requested to be inside of the kitchen here, not just that she's beautiful, but because she's going to teach me everything I need to know. So, run us through everything that we have here on our table.
So for this recipe this morning, because of people like you that want to learn how to make donuts, so we're making it the easy way, which is by kneading with our hands.
Okay.
So for this recipe, you need your hands to be very clean.
Okay.
So I have my flour, butter, sugar, yeast, nutmeg.
Where's the yeast?
This one,
That's
this green
the
one,
yeast.
yes.
Okay.
Then I have nutmeg, salt, vanilla.
Salt. Sugar, salt and sugar. So salt and sugar goes into...
Yes.
Okay,
So
that's the first.
then I have my granulated sugar.
Some more
for
sugar?
Coating, yes.
Oh,
then
for coating.
some more flour for kneading.
All right.
Then I have warm milk and egg.
All right. Why does the milk, because I saw you boil the milk just a bit. Why does it have to be warm?
Because I want it to activate the yeast
Oh, so it's
Yeah.
going to swell.
Yes, it's supposed to
Oh,
rise.
because I was
yes.
wondering if this amount of flour is enough for what we want to do. How many
Okay.
donuts are we going to be making for like how many
Please,
people?
10 pieces.
10,
Yes,
okay.
this should be enough.
It's
for you.
me, Mike. I'm just making sure that it goes round. So yeah, nobody who's not on set is having any. In any case, you just stay tuned because we're going to show you all the different processes. If you miss out, we're also going to tell you what you've missed. So for the menu, you can look at your screens right now. We'll be telling you exactly what it is that you are going to be needing while Chef gets started here. Of course, you need your flour, your eggs, your sugar, your milk, nutmeg yeast, a bit of margarine. Is that margarine?
Yes, margarine.
Margarine
Sugar,
and
salt.
sugar, salts as well. And you're off to a start.
Yes.
The chef has already started by putting everything in our...
Except the butter. So I'm
Except the
adding
butter.
my dry ingredients together.
Okay.
So I'll crack my egg.
We only need 1 egg.
Yes, for this quantity
Okay.
of this
Let me
recipe.
get you a spoon to crack that.
Yeah. Thank you. So I need-
Don't say I didn't help you.
Okay,
I
thank
just
you.
helped.
So I'm going to be cracking my egg,
Okay. All right.
then adding my vanilla. This is
Oh,
like half
that's
teaspoon.
vanilla.
Yes.
I always thought it was white.
No, we have the essence.
Okay.
And we have the clear vanilla and the dark vanilla. So I'm using dark vanilla for this recipe this morning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Now, how long will it take us to put together?
to mix it to form a
From
dough.
start to finish.
From start to finish,
Yeah.
hour and 45 minutes.
Whoa. I have to wake up 2 hours early if I want to take some to work. Or maybe make it the evening before. I think that
Yes,
helps.
so that's better. Then you
Yeah.
can keep in the fridge overnight.
Okay.
So that's the cold method of making it rice proof.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Right.
Well-
Tell you what, we're going to continue doing this, guys. And we'll let you know the process. The milk just went in, by the way,
Yes.
the warm milk. Oh, boy. And just in case you haven't noticed, I've been very hard at work supporting Chef Dida here. Go, Chef Dida. Go, Chef Dida.
Thank you very much.
In any case, so we're having ring donuts today, and she's showing us exactly how to do it. So please talk us through what's happening now. This is the kneading process.
Yes.
With a K.
So because I'm using my hand, I'll have to knead for about 15 minutes.
Okay.
But if you have the regular stand mixer, you can mix for 10 to 7 minutes.
So what happens if I don't mix it enough?
It won't be fluffy, as in it will be
Oh.
doughy. That airy, pillowy donuts that you get
Okay.
everywhere. So if you don't knead enough, it won't get that texture.
Okay, but there's a
you're looking
certain
for.
technique. You're using the ball of your fist, of your
Yes.
hand to, push its sides.
Yes.
Okay. Now take note of that, guys, because that's a special Chef Dida way to do this. And if you don't do it right, you might have a bum donut. But this one is a great technique here. It's also not sticking. What's this thing you're using?
It's like our own new modern board.
Like a board. It's
Yes.
plastic. It's rubbery.
Yes, it's rubbery. So it's foldable.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, you
Okay,
can
that's
put in your
beautiful.
purse. You can put anywhere. When you
Okay.
go.
Well, hey, that's what I wanted you guys to see, how we're going to get to our end product eventually. We're doing ring donuts, like we said. When we get back, we're going to tell you exactly what you might have missed if you're only just joining us regarding the ingredients for this. It's very easy. However, it might take about 2 hours for you guys to be able to put it together. So I wouldn't advise that you make it for breakfast or make it for lunch, rather, because an hour and 45 minutes to put together, so just a couple of donuts you're going to wolf down in 2 minutes is... I don't know. See, the funny thing is that's why I don't cook. I can't imagine putting 2 hours into a meal and then you just bring it out at lunch and then in 5 minutes it's over. It's just so counterproductive for me. So I'd rather if somebody else just does all the cooking and let me eat. You get paid for doing your cooking.
Wow.
And, well, I'm not saying that's what my wife does or that she gets paid for cooking for me. I'm just saying, I'm just not a cook person. I don't know. Hey, Titi, do you sort of like agree with me, please? Do you, Titi?
You know, it's always in my best interest to act like I agree with you.
Well, thank you very much.
And
I
move along
appreciate
with the show. All right, then. Now it's time for a health discussion. Now, what our chef is doing with her hands has a lot to do with some motion in her wrists. And one of those doctors that helped me with some bone challenges some years back is Dr. Lawson. Today, we're joined by Dr. Babajide Lawson, the lead consultant orthopedic and trauma surgeon at Reddington Hospital. Now, he is sharing what we need to know about bone infections, also known as
Osteomyelitis.
osteomyelitis.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
Omo, when I heard bone infection, I first of all did like this, because it feels like the bones are encapsulated in so much. There's the skin, there's muscle, there's fat. It's all the way in there, and then suddenly, God forbid, there's an infection in a bone. How on earth does that happen?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I mean, at this rate, you will get your medical license very soon.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So you're very correct. And like you said, God forbid, well, it's not that common a problem.
Okay.
The first thing you should think about is it also depends on the age. Okay. So usually in kids, the tendency is because there's an infection in the body that might now move around and then settle at some point in the bone. Usually that would be in children that are not well nourished, immunocompromised. Sometimes for a particular sect of people with sickle cell disease, because the condition makes a fertile ground for that to happen. In adults, however, this may be seen in individuals with diabetes, people that have had accidents, trauma would direct inoculation of organisms, open fractures.
Okay.
And then, of course, sometimes it can come as a complication of surgery for bones.
But this is, it feels like an extremely serious thing to deal with. What are those indicators that you see as a doctor that tell you this could be the case?
Well, again, like I said, at this rate, you will get this license very soon. Because you said it's very serious. So we call it a disease of 40 days or 40 years.
Wow. Okay.
So, and the implication is that if a person does get a bone infection, the aim is to try and eradicate it within 6 weeks. Wow. If you're unable to do that, then it moves into the chronic stage, whereby it now becomes something that has more complications and is more difficult to take care of. So you don't want it to get very bad.
So visually speaking, can you ever see, as a doctor, when you see a patient come through the door into your consulting room, can you see that it's a bone infection? Or is this something that has to be diagnosed with certain tests? All
right. So in the early stages, what we call acute osteomyelitis, you listen to the patient, and then you need to run some blood tests to be able, but it's something that is based on, we call it a high index of suspicion. So you listen to the patient, you take a look. They usually have difficulty in walking, there's bone pain, there's fever. All the hallmarks of infection, are there. But by the time you can see the clear-cut evidence, things like sometimes they have sinuses, discharging sinuses, so they have a wound and it's always coming, pus is always coming out. Okay. Sometimes they may have deformities. Sometimes they come with fractures, what we call pathological fractures.
Wow.
So by that point, it's already morphed into the chronic type, which is the 40-year variation. So the first one is this 40 days variation.
Okay, so that 40 years, what exactly does that mean? It doesn't mean that it's going to take 40 years for it to clear,
it's just
right?
It's just a way of describing it that it takes long to...
Okay, so you did mention fractures, basically trauma could lead to it. So for, we've heard many times people being told to go to orthopedic hospitals after accidents, and then sadly our roads have led to so many different types of accidents, and of course our drivers have led to so many different types of accidents. When they get there, right, and they're going through some treatment, are there things they can ask for, things they can do to make sure that their care is 100%, to make sure that these things never happen?
Okay, so usually patients come in, you want to ensure that they're attended to on time, or the patient is brought in on time, and then the wound is covered properly. Okay. I mean, first aid at the scene of the accident, ensure that things are clean,
That at the scene of the accident thing you just said, a lot of people don't have that first aid information.
So that's where the problem actually starts from, because you need to get them early. If you don't get them in early, if the environment is not appropriate or adequate, then chances for inoculation, infection becomes high. And then by the time you get in, by the time the patient gets in, things like getting medication, starting early treatment is very, very important. Especially the use of antibiotics, just to, so we call them broad spectrum, to cover the usual suspects or organisms that can cause that.
Okay.
So you want to start that early before you're able to now pick out the particular organism that might be there.
Okay.
So you want to start early so that you don't give it room to multiply.
So I want to come back to the other aspect of patients. You mentioned adults, a certain area, and then you mentioned kids.
Yes.
So for now, who, the truth is kids are getting knocked around all the time. They're running up and down. They're having slips and falls, scrapes and bruises. What can parents do to make sure that they're covering their kids the right way?
Okay, fortunately, it is not a very common problem, number one.
Okay.
Number two, eat healthy, be in a general good state of health. That's the first step. Secondly, when there are injuries, more often than not, wash out, clean, pain medication, and watch out. But once the injury is severe, there's significant depth, and they should get that looked at the hospital so that someone can advise, get x-rays done to be able to get the appropriate treatment in time.
I've seen it so many times where you see a child just fell down. Don't worry, the child will be fine, and then maybe they find some antiseptic liquid, they pour it over it. And is that enough? Is that actually enough?
Again, you have to individualize and look at, more often than not, again, like you said, the bone is well covered. So it's unlikely that just the regular bruises and scrapes would cause that. Okay. But sometimes that can result in it, especially over the leg. There's just skin over the bone here. Yeah. So if the bruises, if the wound is deep enough and is contaminated or dirty enough, it can potentially lead to a problem in kids.
So I would like to just, touch on first aid. If, for instance, you see someone has a wound on the leg, an open wound on the leg, what is the first thing people should do?
First thing is ensure that you get clean water, wash it out, just to ensure that whatever debris is washed out. Okay. Then you can get some alcohol for the edges, and then a clean bandage or something applied on it, and then taken to the hospital.
Okay, so you did say it's not common, but I like to hear statistics. Do you have a ballpark? Like, I'm just saying, the likeliness of things like this to happen. I'm hoping it's very unlikely.
So this is set up.
Yes, statistics. I'm just thinking, out of every 10 patients.
And it's not even, you probably will struggle to get 1 out of 10. Okay,
all right.
You will struggle to get 1 out of 10.
Okay, that was very helpful. I can breathe now. All right, then. So general bone health, for people that are recovering from infections, are there certain things that they can do?
Okay, so first thing is regular follow-up, follow instructions as given, because you still have to individualize. So medication, ensure the child is eating healthy. Okay. For individuals like sickle cell disease patients, you need to optimize them so they're taking their regular drugs, they avoid stressful conditions, well hydrated. Okay. I mean, that's just the...
All right. Thank you, Dr. Lawson. I have a feeling there's someone out there that's learned something today. If you have any questions, use our hashtag WakeUpNigeria on TVC as you post them. We'll see if we can respond to them online. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to be taking a quick break and be back with more.
Yes, indeed. Like they say, having breakfast is, well, hey, the right step to take. It's like refueling yourself to get through the day. Yeah. Consider the second hour of Wake Up Nigeria, the meal that you can't pass up whether you're full or not. Yeah, you just gotta have it.
Like those donuts that are coming our way.
Very special donuts. I'm going to jump into the kitchen now, kick Mary out of there, and have some of that dough, because I love dough just as it is.
Really?
Yeah. Really? I love it. Mary, what are you doing there, Mary?
Please, don't eat dough.
It's delicious.
Don't eat dough.
I want to have some of it.
I'm not sorry for you.
Well,
dough that has not finished rising. It will rise in your belly like this.
Oh,
you will not be walking like this all day.
Yeah, so
And that's
actually something, you know, that's why they give you small chops at parties. So they fill you up so you don't eat the rest of their food.
Now I get
They've not
it.
met some of us. It usually opens doors for more food. People that do that 3-course thing, first course, you give me soup. That soup is just making me go to the restroom to prepare for the food.
Wow.
I just, what are you saying? You've not met a typical Nigerian that is hungry.
In any case, she is married. My name is Mazino Appeal, and
I'm Titilayo Oyinson. Let's begin today's show this hour. But as you stream the show live, you can stream it via our website. That's tvcentertainment.tv. You can also stream on Facebook or Twitter. Visit us on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. Just connect with us with the hashtag WakeUpNigeria on TVC.
all right. And of course, download the app carriers with you everywhere you want to go. It's available for Android and also iOS. No fine.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. It's all good. Now, what do we have left for the show for Tuesday?
We still have parenting. There's going to be a discussion on teaching your children how to regulate their emotions. Well, you've not regulated your own. I keep saying that thing. I said that the first time. I'm saying it again. Yeah. Coach, child behavior consultant is going to be here with us today.
That's
and
Sandra Oluwadare.
Yes, she's going to be here. And it's going to be an interesting conversation. You need to stay close.
And for a musical performance, we will be joined by Babatunde Raimi, a prolific Nigerian author, poet, songwriter, and singer who over the years has been able to blend his robust experience with art.
Then we'll be having Biodun Stevens here. Interesting conversation going to be happening today. Film producer, director, writer, and so much more. Someone who specializes in romantic drama and films like Breaded Life, Tough Love, and her latest, A Simple Life.
I need to talk here.
I think
No,
I don't care about what
I want to say. I know what you're about to say.
There are two things. First of all, we need an outlet. We need to hang out. And we have to have a chair. Where are we going to?
We need a
Black
show.
and Pan or something.
A show that
in the
happens while the show is going on. That shows everything that happens when you guys don't have the cameras on. Because those are the funniest bits.
That show is scattered. It is scattered twist. Meanwhile, let me give a big shout out to Halima Okoli.
You know, Polly, deliberately.
She knows why. She knows why. So one day, we always talk about Halima, one of our producers here. One day, either in entertainment or some way, we will force her here. We will do all we can and ensure that she's here.
We have to make you guys meet her.
Yes,
And
we
everybody
have
else
to.
is
I'm not
behind
sorry
the
for you
camera.
people. So the camera is ready. 5, 4, 3. Halima, where are you now?
She can just miss.
Exactly.
In any case, not to say that you're not getting 100% of Wake Up Nigeria. We always aim to deliver everything that we can here for the show, from the kitchen to the chats that we have to our conversations. But that show behind the scenes must happen.
You know
Just so
something funny?
you're aware,
Okay.
I'm always positively dynamite all the time. I don't know what they're talking about. Everything you see is what you get.
She's the one that's the butt of every joke here.
Well, sometimes I kind of used to it, but the issue now is that we have quite a show.
You know, there's there's no resist the urge to shalaye.
Wow.
You just shalaye now.
Wow.
And when you shalaye, you
My
just
job is to inform the people of exactly what is going on.
And so,
Good to see you again. You're watching the news updates on Wake Up Nigeria, and we absolutely appreciate it. I am Kelly Egiga. Let's begin with security stories. And in Kaduna State, where the death toll from Sunday's attack by terrorists at Agban Kaguru Chiefdom in Kaura local government area has risen to 26. Now, this was confirmed by the chairman of Kaura local government, Matthias Seyman. Mr. Seyman also said 2 soldiers were killed while 1 other sustained injury. He further disclosed that 7 others sustained various degrees of injuries and are currently receiving treatment in some hospitals within Kaduna State and Jos, the Plateau State capital. The state government had earlier on Monday imposed a 24-hour curfew in 2 local government areas, including Kaura. This comes a day after terrorists attacked Kaguru Chiefdom in Kaura local government area, killing at least 13 villagers while several properties were destroyed. Mr. Samuel Aruwan, the Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs, announced this in a statement on Monday. The Commissioner said the measure became necessary following advice from security agencies, which is aimed at assisting them to stabilize the situation in the areas and save lives and property and enable restoration of law and order. Away from Kaduna State, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, says it has granted administrative bail to the immediate past governor of Anambra State, Willie Obiano. That's according to the EFCC chairman, Abdulrasheed Bawa. Mr. Bawa said the former governor was cooperating with the EFCC to perfect the bail conditions, but revealed that Mr. Obiano is still in EFCC custody. According to the chairman, there was nothing political about the former governor's arrest. Mr. Obiano was arrested on Thursday at the Murtala Mohammed International Stadium, Lagos, while trying to board a flight to Texas in the U.S. The FCC had in November last year placed the former governor on a watch list. He was arrested for misappropriating 5 billion naira Shopee and 37 billion naira security vote funds, which was withdrawn in cash. A part of the funds was also allegedly diverted to finance political activities in Anambra State. And outside Nigeria, Ukraine has refused Russian demands to surrender Mariupol, with the besieged port city the focal point of a war that has reached a brutal stalemate, but is fueling a devastating humanitarian crisis in that country. Now, Kyiv rejected the demands to give up the city by 5 a.m. local time after Moscow promised to allow civilians trapped amid the bombardment without water, heat or medicine to escape if its defenders laid down their arms. Seizing control of the strategic city would represent a significant victory for Russian forces, with their advance seemingly ground to a halt elsewhere, and their campaign shifting to intensifying aerial bombardments of Ukrainian cities. A fresh attack on Kyiv on Sunday night left at least 8 people dead and a shopping center destroyed. Ukrainian officials said an official death toll was still being determined. President Joe Biden will head to Europe this week as the United States and its allies seek to bluster Ukraine and punish the Kremlin for its invasion. The trip will include a visit to Poland, a NATO ally and neighboring Ukraine, the White House announced late on Sunday. And that does it for us here on the news updates at this time. Thank you so much for your company. I am Kelly Egiga. We urge you to stick around here for the rest of Wake Up Nigeria. Good morning.
It's time for us to talk parenting, and doing justice to that today is Sandra Oluwadari. Now, the focus is teaching your children how to regulate their emotions. Just so you know, Sandra Oluwadari is a parenting coach, a child behavior consultant, as well as the founder, Winning in Parenting. It's such a pleasure to have you in the studio with us today.
Same here. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely, our pleasure as well. So, you know, parenting is something that is multifaceted, so many angles to it.
Yeah.
And so today we are focusing on regulating your children's emotions, which, frankly, is something many parents ignore.
Yeah.
First off, let's establish, when you talk about emotions in children, what do you mean?
Okay, so everybody has emotions, and our emotions are valid. It is how we express these emotions that become something we need to look into. So children have emotions. There are some pre-wired emotions in the brains of children, like they come into this world, they just find themselves crying. Nobody teaches them to cry. You know, when they're frustrated, they find a way to express it. When they're hungry, they cry out and all of that. So these are some emotions that have been pre-wired into their brain. And then as they begin to mature, other emotions begin to evolve. Yeah. You know, so emotions in themselves are not bad things, you know, but we need to get to the point where we are able to teach our children how to express these emotions. It is when they don't know how to do it properly that it becomes a problem.
Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about how to teach them to express, and then we'll talk about what happens when you don't teach them. So first, let's talk about the teaching, okay? So what are those things that parents need to know so they can impact it on their children?
Okay, so first off, let me establish this truth. When parents always jump into problem solve for their children, you know, they always want to try to help the children get out of tough situations. What they are doing is they are teaching their children to outsource their self-regulation. Like I said earlier, everyone has emotions and they are not bad in themselves, you know, but how we let out these emotions, becomes very important. So children need to learn this skill. I don't want parents to see self-regulation as just a behavior. It's a set of skills that every child should acquire. Every child should learn it and practice it, because no matter how intelligent you are, no matter how wealthy you are, once you're not able to regulate your emotions, it's going to affect your height in life, So parents should stop jumping in to help their children get out of tough situations. That's the first part. And then you want to first help your children identify their emotions. I mean, if they don't understand what's going on, there's little they can do. So we want to establish the fact that, okay, when this child is feeling this way, he knows that, oh, I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling angry, I'm feeling tired. We need to help them learn to name their emotions. That's where it begins. And then after they're able to identify and name these emotions, we now begin to teach them how to let out these emotions. And, one of the ways you can do that is to validate their emotions. Now, a child comes to you, her pencil is broken, and then she's crying. And because you have a pack of pencils in your drawer, you're like, is it not pencil? I'll give you another one. You are not validating that child's emotion. And emotional invalidation really does a lot of harm to the child. So you want to pull the child closer and say, oh, darling, I'm so sorry. You broke your pencil. Sorry about that. You know what? I'm going to get you another one. Even if you're not going to speak for too long, but just let the child understand that you can relate
to cry,
not
rubbishing it like, why are you crying? Is it not pencil? I'll give you another one.
Exactly. When we do that, we're making our children feel that feelings are wrong. And once they begin to feel that feelings are wrong, you are already closing the communication lines in your home. The next time they feel scared, they're not going to express it how they should, because they were embarrassed the last time they expressed themselves. So we want to first validate their emotions after teaching them how to identify it. And after that, you want to walk them through the process of coming out of it. And how do we do that? First, you want to teach them how to self-regulate by simple tricks that look funny but very effective. Counting backwards or counting forward. So you teach your child, modeling is very important. You have to role play a lot if you really want your children to catch the drift. So you have to come up with different situations that they might likely find themselves in. So you say, for instance, when your friend does this to you, somebody grabs your toy or something, and you feel angry, what will you do? Okay, let's do something. I'm your friend. I'm going to grab your toy now. So let's see how you're going to respond.
Just imagine the child slaps you.
Just imagine. So it also gives you an opportunity to know the child's perspective. So if the child is not responding properly, you know that this is an area where I need to work on. And then the child says, no, I'm going to do this. And you're like, no. Let me show you how we're going to solve this. Okay, so I'm going to look at the ceilings and I'm going to try counting. What I'm doing is I'm trying to bring myself, I'm trying to contain my emotions, I'm trying to calm down. So when you find yourself in this situation, this is what you should do. You can count the tiles, you can count from 1 to 10, 1 to 100, whatever it is, just do something that would bring you back to your true state. That is one thing you can teach your child. Another thing you can teach them is how to practice deep breathing. When they find themselves in these situations where their emotions are all over the place and they just want to, spill and vent and all of that. Because when children are not taught how to express their emotions in socially acceptable ways, they become a nuisance,
Yeah. And that's when it often gets out of hand.
Exactly.
Really. Thank you so much for your time. We really
My
appreciate
pleasure.
this. I've learned a lot. You wouldn't believe how much I've learned, but thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's absolutely our pleasure.
Welcome back, and thank you for staying with us. Now, finally, we have Abiodun Stephen. She is a film director, writer, and producer who specializes in a lot of kind of movies, yeah?
Well,
What kind of movies?
There's a specificity on romantic movies, romantic drama, and films like that, like Better Life, Tough Love, and also her latest one, A Simple Lie. You are welcome, Stephen.
You're welcome.
It's good to have you here.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
I read something quite interesting, which you said about how you got into filmmaking. You know, it wasn't something that you really planned. It was something like an accident or something like that.
Actually, I wanted to be an actor.
Oh.
And then the roles never came.
Okay.
But I've always been a writer. And then I decided, you know what? I have to still oscillate in this industry. So let me go find something else to do. And I really like to tell stories. And behind the scene, I think I found my space. Behind the scene, I found where I needed to be.
So writing led to directing.
Yes, writing led me to producing led me to directing. Yes.
Okay, so that's the what do you call it, the progression.
Progression, yeah.
For me, that.
You know, but I'm thinking that now that you're a director and a producer, shouldn't you write a story for yourself and play the character or something? Wouldn't you want to do that? I mean, is there no temptation to do that?
No temptation, actually. Because when you look at the stress of getting into makeup, dressing up and changing 1 million times, I'll pass.
Okay. All right.
Or maybe sometime down the line, but for now, I'm just focusing on, just the joy of being able to watch a story that you've written come to life. I think that for me is so much fulfilling as against,
Maybe being
So
in front
what
of
if
the
in a
camera.
case where you didn't write the story, but you had to direct it, how are you able to take a person's expressions and formulate it into something that people would appreciate? How easy is that a task?
I mean, it's, I usually will work hand in hand with the producer many times because a lot of people know that I'm a storyteller. I usually am part of the storytelling process. And so it gives me a clearer picture. But even in a case where I never wrote the story, but I read it, naturally you're a storyteller, so you're able to understand better the characters. And hopefully, the casting is right. Then, it's easy to have a conversation with the actors to understand where the story is coming from and what you want them to do in interpreting, the character.
How much of, how impactful or implicative is the cast to your directorial role? I
think that just casting right, the cast that fits, which is very, very important, the cast that fits the profile of the character that is, being said in the script, but more importantly, an individual who really is willing and eager to interpret the character. I think that is very key because it's different when you cast right, but this person is not really interested in the story or even working extra hard. Yeah. You're not going to really go anywhere.
Now, you see this thing, you spoke about conversations with actors, and recently you held a masterclass for actors. What were you planning to achieve? Did you achieve that? How was that? Talk to us about it.
I think I just wanted the actors or the upcoming actors to understand the rudiments and the expectations, of kind of breaking into the industry, what is expected of them. I mean, as an actor, what am I looking out for as a producer or as a director? What am I looking out for in you as an actor? And you as an actor, what are you trying to sell? Because really, I don't know, we're all trying to sell something.
Yeah.
We are.
The producer is trying to sell the story. I'm trying to make this film and make the audience believe it. So you as an actor, what are you bringing to the table to really help us sell this market?
Now, let's talk about A Simple Lie, but there are a few things I want to talk about. With A Simple Lie, we've seen one or two cast members that you've worked with before. And we know that producer and the director sometimes have favorites.
Yeah,
and you see them... let's talk about that.
It's not just here in Nigeria.
It's okay. It's cool to have a favorite, but, when you see a producer, I've worked with this guy once, twice, 3, 4 times. What do you think?
Chemistry.
Chemistry,
There's
yeah?
something called creative chemistry. If you have creative chemistry with an actor and, you enjoy working with an actor, particularly an actor that allows you to peel. Some of these actors allow me to peel them back. It's always something fun to come back to and say, there's another new layer that I want you to explore. And so if I keep coming back, it's because many times these actors are like onions to me. And there's always something to peel.
At the detriment of some viewers saying that we don't like seeing this combination. We've seen this combination too much.
Cast right.
Is it just because you like them? Is it the right casting? Somebody might have been better. Some people might feel so.
It's always about the right casting first. Before sentiments don't really play in all of this. The right casting is really, really important.
How much of a influence do you as a director have in casting then?
If I'm opportuned, if it's...
So it's not a director's role then?
Well, no, we also have people called casting directors.
Casting directors, yes.
Many times they work hand in hand with the director. They take what the director is hoping to see, and then they go search for that talent.
Okay, so
yes.
My other question, which might be my last question, is new Nollywood, old Nollywood. Do you see a difference
massive difference.
There's a massive difference.
Massive.
And some people don't want to
I
say
want
some people don't want to
I
admit
want
that.
what you understand. I want to understand what you're saying. Old Nollywood in terms of growth.
In terms of growth, individuals, new Nollywood in terms of the people who are acting as active players in it now. And is there a marriage of the two anywhere? Do you see that happening? And is it happening well?
I think that at the end of the day, it's always important to still bring the old and the new many times, because the old have things to teach the new. The new has something to learn from the old, and also the old have something to learn from the new. So it's always important to have that marriage consistently. In terms of growth as an industry, from the old to the new, we have grown massively. We've grown in our storytelling, we've grown in our technology, our technical, output. We've grown in a lot. Set design, we're paying attention to quite a lot more
detailed
now,
productions.
more detail now. Because again, we are trying to play for the global field. Nobody is really wanting to play anymore in the local setting. You want your film to be able to travel. And so more attention is being played to that. And I also think that this new Nollywood allows you as a talented person to be seen very easily, unlike the old. The old is like civil service. You gotta, step after. But now with the new, it allows you to be seen. It gives you a voice, and thanks to social media.
Yeah.
Even if you don't make a film,
Social
if
media
you are
is
not
a
even
big influence when it comes to.
I've casted people just from social media, not without having to hold auditions, because you are tagged in a monologue somewhere, and so there's a lot of opportunities now for the players and the new, and they're very lucky, unlike when we were younger.
Exactly. So we're talking about your latest movie now. Breaded Life was critically acclaimed. You've done some very quite. Where does this one fall in the scheme of things? Just a little bit, the synopsis and all of that.
So Simple Lie is really about a small lie that was told that caused plenty gbasgbos.
No.
Okay.
It was just supposed to be, that small lie that you just tell you
A
without
white lie often.
thinking.
Yeah.
And then you just realize that, man, and you have to keep lying.
Yeah,
and
to
lying,
support it.
and lying. And then now the lies are no longer small. They are monumental lies. And so
you
basically,
remember what my dad used to say? He said the liar should always have a good memory.
Yeah.
Yes.
You have to keep track.
Yes. It's such a lot of work, but you have to keep track.
Yeah.
So we're expecting basketballs with this one.
Quite a lot of, but it's a situation of a yam pepper scatter kind of stuff.
Oh,
yes.
wow.
Plenty
Oh,
basketballs,
wow.
yes.
Oh, wow. So how have you now? How have you reacted to criticism, negative one? Because I know that with everybody, no matter how good you are, there will always be the ones that are critically acclaimed and the ones that are less critically acclaimed. As a person, how do you react to it? How has it affected and shaped your career?
I think first understand that not everybody, art is subjective, really. Okay. So everybody views it in a certain different ways. So first understand that as a creative. And then also, not all criticisms are criticisms. Okay. So just look through the pool, pick your own, and leave the rest. And that's really been my approach, I read through it. I'm not averse to it. I read through it. I pick what I think I can benefit from, and what I think is not a critique, we just, leave it for the owner.
So anywhere in this Simple Lie production, did you think that, if I'm going to work with this actor or that actor, I'm going to need them to have a following of sort? And often, since you also mentioned that social media is one way which you cast people, have you used this as a yardstick? As a yardstick. I want my film to be popular, and I'm going to get these people who are good on who are big on social media.
So, as a creative, and having to sometimes do the business of film, sometimes those lines are very important. You need the right cast, but you also need, because if you're going to maybe, for instance, cinema, you want to be able to sell your film. You want people to be able to, you want the audience, because many times the audience make a decision based on who did the film. Okay. It goes sweet. That's how some people make decisions. They don't even.
Right,
yeah.
You're right.
So you have to find a way to cross all those T's. Navigate all of that, and still retain your authenticity as a creative. Yeah. So yes, it is important that whoever you cast, sometimes the numbers you need it, you know. Right. But in a case where the numbers, having the person with the numbers does bad for your film because the person is not good, then that is you doing yourself a disservice. So you need to kind of find
The
you
balance.
know, the balance.
Because I've seen
you
where
know.
people will go and say, oh, this particular person is just there because of the numbers.
Yes,
And then
many
just keep
times.
like,
Yeah.
why
Yes,
do you
many
put them
times.
and then it now seems as if it backfires.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
You know,
Yes.
the opposite of what you wanted to achieve.
Exactly.
So that is the producer or the director, that's where it really comes in. You have to do a
Actually, it's a
very-
producer's problem.
The producer's problem, yeah.
And then, how would you react when you get all of those negative, well, not so negative, let's just say constructive. Let's just say you get everything, a mix of everything, a potpourri of negative, good, bad, worst type of criticism. How would you as a producer react or advise that people react?
Yes, exactly. You've spoken about you. How do you advise other people to react?
Like I said, you take your own and leave the rest. But more importantly, there's always a truth in the comments. So you need to be truthful to yourself. Where have I goofed? Are they right? Is this correct? How can I make amends going forward? Don't be a coconut head. Honestly, you know.
Okay, well, very interesting. Tell you what we're going to do to everybody out there. We're going to let you guys see a couple of the trailers by Biodun Stevens so that you guys can understand her work. And by the time we get back, she'll be having some of our donuts, which we have prepared inside of the kitchen.
Yeah,
We'll be
imagine
right
us personally curated for her.
Yes, exactly.
Let's take a look at it.
I love love. I'm such a romantic. But why can't I find love?
But it's not you.
It's me.
All right.
Come on over, because you have to talk about this. But inside of here, we have our donuts still frying, but we have some of them ready already.
Yeah.
And hey, tell us, please, Chef Dida, why have we arrived at what we've arrived at?
Okay, so after kneading the dough, we have to leave it to proof.
Yeah.
For for about 45 to 1 hour.
Which we did not have.
We
did not have 45 to 1 hour, and it's very cold in the studio, so that affects the yeasting process.
Yeah.
So,
But it still looks very tasty, though, and the aroma, I don't know.
yes.
It
Smells
really nice. Would you like to have a taste of the donut?
Please, let her. Let her.
Please,
Okay.
please.
Please.
Got some
have
with
a
sugar
taste.
and some without. So,
Yes.
No sugar.
no
Yeah,
sugar.
no sugar.
There's one
Okay,
in
please
there
go
without
ahead.
sugar.
Grab one and tell us what you think. What do you think?
Nice, already. Yes.
Yeah,
Thank you very
fluffy. So we're getting there. We just needed a bit more time.
yeah.
But this honestly smells amazing. As soon as I came into the kitchen, I was like, my diet's out the window.
No.
But
Well, I can't wait to have some myself, and it's looking lovely. Thank you very much, Chef Dida.
Thank you very much. Thank you too for having me here.
Yes, you're welcome.
Mary and Mike, what are you guys up to on the couch?
Bye-bye, bye-bye.
All right, then.
All right, then.
Well, thank you very much, everybody. Catch you guys for tomorrow's edition here on Wednesday, and of course, it's going to be Wonder Women's Wednesday then.
Yes, sir.
Until then, please be good, and hey,
Drive
see you next
safe.
time.
Yeah.
Exactly, do that too.
Yeah.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.